The cold darkness slowly faded away. Captain Hyunwoo Park felt his body warming up as the cryogenic pod opened with a soft hiss. His eyes opened, and bright lights made him blink. His throat was dry, and his muscles felt weak. He had been sleeping for a very long time. "Welcome back, Captain," said a gentle female voice. The voice sounded familiar, but somehow different. "Please remain calm. Your body needs time to wake up properly." Hyun-woo tried to speak, but only a rough whisper came out. How long?" 203 years, 7 months, and 16 days, the voice replied. "I am Aria, the ship's artificial intelligence. I carry the personality matrix of Dr. So Young Kim. Do you remember her?" Memories flooded back. Dr. So Young Kim had been the lead scientist on the Baekdu project. She had volunteered to have her mind copied into the ship's computer before the final battle. Hyunwoo remembered her smile, her brilliant mind, and her sacrifice. "So young," he whispered. "You're still here." "In a way, yes," Arya replied softly. "I have been watching over the ship and our sleeping crew for all these years. Captain, we need to talk. Many things have changed." Hyun-woo slowly sat up in his pod. The medical bay around him looked exactly as he remembered. Clean white walls, rows of other cryogenic pods, and the soft blue glow of the ship's systems. But something felt different. The ship was too quiet. "The others?" he asked. "All 50,000 crew members are still alive and sleeping safely," Arya assured him. "But our situation is complicated." As feeling returned to his legs, Hyunwoo stood up carefully. Arya guided him to a nearby chair and brought him water and nutrition paste. The taste was terrible, but his body needed it. "Tell me everything," he said. A holographic display appeared in front of him. It showed a map of the galaxy, but it looked wrong. The borders he remembered were gone. New nations and territories filled the space where old ones used to be. "The war ended badly for everyone," Arya began. "Earth is gone, Captain. All human. Colonies were destroyed. The galaxy believes humanity is extinct." The words hit him like a physical blow. Hyunwoo had known this might happen when they left Earth, but hearing it confirmed was still painful. His home world, his people, all gone. The Dominion Alliance won the war, but their victory destroyed them, Arya continued. The Vortak and Nethys fought each other for control of human territories. Their alliance broke apart within 50 years. The galaxy fell into chaos. The display changed, showing battle scenes and destroyed worlds. Hyunwoo watched in silence as Arya explained how the different alien races had turned on each other. The Vortak had tried to become the new rulers of the galaxy, but other races fought back. The Nethys had retreated to their home worlds and focused on science and trade. Many smaller races had formed their own groups for protection. "What about our allies?" Hyunwoo asked. "The races that fought with us?" Some survived. The Kalari formed something called the Neo-Republic with other species that opposed the Dominion. They claimed to carry on humanity's legacy of freedom and cooperation. but they are not as strong as they once were. Arya showed him images of Kalari ships and stations. Hyunwoo recognized some of the designs. They were based on human technology, but cruder and less advanced. The galaxy has been trying to rebuild human technology for 2 centuries, Arya explained. They have had some success, but they don't understand the deeper principles. Their copies are inefficient and sometimes dangerous. And we've been hiding. All this time? Yes. Our stealth systems have been working perfectly. We have drifted through empty space, far from any major trade routes or settlements. I have been monitoring galactic communications and learning about the new political situation. Hyunwoo studied the galactic map more carefully. 3 major power blocks dominated most of the settled worlds. The Neo-Republic controlled territory that used to belong to humanity's allies. The Imperial Consortium was led by the surviving Vortak clans. The Free Worlds Coalition was a loose group of newer civilizations that had grown powerful during the chaos after the war. They're all claiming to be humanity's heir, he observed. Exactly. Each group tells a different story about humans. The Neo-Republic says humans were noble heroes who died fighting tyranny. The Imperial Consortium claims humans were dangerous rebels who destabilized the galaxy and deserve to be destroyed. The Free Worlds Coalition believes humans were just another extinct species, no different from many others. Hyunwoo felt anger rising in his chest, but he forced himself to stay calm. Getting emotional would not help their situation. "What's our status?" he asked. "The Baekdu is in excellent condition. All major systems are working. Our quantum cascade reactors are still functioning at 92% efficiency. Our weapon systems are fully operational. However, we have a problem." The display changed to show the ship's power systems. Red warning lights flashed on several indicators. "We're running low on certain rare elements needed for life support and reactor maintenance. I estimate we have enough supplies for about 6 months at current consumption levels. If we begin waking up the crew, that time will be much shorter." Hyunwoo nodded. This was the decision he had been dreading. They could not stay hidden forever, but revealing themselves would be extremely dangerous. "Show me our options," he said. Arya displayed several star systems within range of their current position. Some were controlled by the Neo-Republic, others by the Imperial Consortium or Free Worlds Coalition. There were also a few neutral systems with independent trading stations. The safest option would be to approach one of the neutral stations, Arya suggested. They are less likely to be controlled by any major power, and we might be able to trade for supplies without revealing our true identity. And the most dangerous option? Direct contact with any of the major powers. They would either try to capture us for our technology or destroy us as a threat to galactic stability. Hyunwoo was quiet for a long time, thinking. He was the captain of humanity's last survivors. Every decision he made could determine whether his species lived or died. "I need to see the ship," he said finally. "I need to check on our people and our systems. Then we'll decide our next move." "Of course, Captain. Would you like me to wake Commander Minho Lee? He has been designated as your first officer." "Yes, and Dr. Hyejin Choi. I want a full medical report on our crew's condition." "Already in progress, Captain." As they walked through the ship's corridors, Hyunwoo was amazed by how well everything had been maintained. Arya had done an incredible job keeping the Baekdu in perfect condition for over 2 centuries. The ship's systems hummed quietly, and the lights were bright and clean. They passed through sections filled with cryogenic pods. Thousands of his crew members slept peacefully, waiting to be awakened. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, doctors, teachers, artists, the best of humanity, saved for this moment. "They're counting on us," he said quietly. "Yes," Arya replied. "But Captain, I want you to know something. During these long years alone, I have had time to think about our mission. We were sent to preserve humanity, but I believe our purpose is greater than just survival." "What do you mean?" "The galaxy is broken, Captain. 2 centuries of war and chaos have left deep wounds. The races don't trust each other. They fight over resources and territory. They have forgotten how to work together for common goals." Hyun-woo stopped walking and looked at the holographic projection of So Young Kim that Arya sometimes used. It was exactly as he remembered her: kind eyes, confident smile, and the expression of someone who believed in the future. "You think we can help fix it?" "I think we have to try. Humanity's greatest strength was never our weapons or our technology. It was our ability to bring different peoples together, to find common ground even with our enemies. The galaxy needs that now, more than ever." As they reached the ship's bridge, Hyunwoo felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He was no longer just a military captain. He was the leader of humanity's return to a galaxy that had moved on without them. The question was, would that galaxy welcome them back or try to destroy them again? 3 days had passed since Captain Hyunwoo Park woke up. Commander Min-ho Lee and Dr. Hae-jin Choi were now also awake and working. The 3 of them had spent hours going over ship systems and planning their next move. The nearest neutral station is Kepler's Haven, Min-ho said, pointing at the star map. "It's about 6 days away at normal speed. We could reach it in 2 days if we push the engines." "What kind of traffic does it see?" Hyunwoo asked. "Arya has been monitoring their communications," Dr. Hae-jin replied. "It's a major trading hub. Ships from all over the galaxy stop there. That means we can blend in, but it also means more eyes watching." "Captain?" Arya interrupted. "I'm detecting a distress signal. It's coming from a system 3 hours away at maximum speed." The bridge displays lit up with new information. A small transport ship was sending out emergency calls. The messages were in the Keth Mori language, which Arya translated automatically. "They're under attack by pirates," Min-ho reported, reading the tactical display. 5 ships, looks like Rathkar raiders. The transport has no weapons and minimal shields." Hyunwoo studied the information carefully. The Keth Mori were a peaceful trading species. He remembered them as honest dealers who had sometimes traded with human colonies before the war. The Rathkar were descendants of Vortok shock troops, who had turned to piracy after the Dominion Alliance collapsed. "How many people on the transport?" he asked. "Sensors show about 200 life signs," Arya replied. "Mixed species, mostly Keth Mori, but also some Voss refugees and other civilians." "Sir," Minho said carefully. Helping them would mean revealing ourselves. The pirates will see our weapons and technology. Word will spread. And if we don't help, 200 innocent people will die, Dr. Hyojin added quietly. Hyunwoo closed his eyes and thought. This was exactly the kind of situation he had hoped to avoid. But Arya's words from 3 days ago echoed in his mind. Humanity's greatest strength was bringing people together and protecting the innocent. Arya, can we disable the pirate ships without destroying them? Easily, Captain. Our quantum cascade. Weapons can overload their power systems without causing hull damage. The pirates would be stranded but alive. And how advanced are their sensors? Will they be able to record detailed information about our technology? Their equipment is at least 50 years behind our current level. They will know we have advanced weapons, but they won't understand how they work. Hyunwoo made his decision. Set course for the transport ship, maximum speed. Prepare the weapon systems, but set them to disable only. We save those people. Yes, sir, Minho replied, but Hyunwoo could hear concern in his voice. The Baekdu moved through space like a silent shadow. Its stealth systems kept it invisible, until the very last moment. The pirate ships were focused on their attack and didn't notice the massive human carrier approaching. Captain, Arya reported. The transport ship is called the Bright Current. Captain Veltar is requesting immediate assistance. His shields are failing. On the main screen, Hyunwoo could see the battle. 5 ugly Rathkar ships surrounded the elegant Kethmori transport. The pirates were using old military weapons to tear apart the civilian vessel's defenses. Drop stealth. Hail the pirate ships, Hyunwoo ordered. The Baekdu suddenly appeared in space, its enormous hull dwarfing all the other ships. The pirates' communications channels erupted with confused shouting as they tried to identify the newcomer. This is Captain Hyunwoo Park of the human carrier Baekdu, he broadcast on all frequencies. You will stop your attack immediately and withdraw, or we will stop you. The pirate channels went completely silent for several seconds. Then their leader, a Rathkar named Scar Host, responded with laughter. Human? Humans are extinct, fool! Your trick won't work on us. We've seen fake ships before. Withdraw, or we'll add your scrap to our prize. The pirate ships turned toward the Baekdu, their weapons charging. They were crude but dangerous. Plasma cannons and missile launchers that could damage even military vessels. Their choice, Minho said grimly. Fire, Hyunwoo ordered. The Baekdu's quantum cascade weapons activated. Blue energy beams struck each pirate ship with perfect accuracy. The weapons didn't punch holes in the hulls or cause explosions. Instead, they sent energy surges through the ship's power systems, overloading circuits and shutting down all major systems. In less than 10 seconds, all 5 pirate ships were floating dead in space. Their engines were off, their weapons were silent, and their life support was running on emergency power. Impossible, Scar Host's voice whispered over the communications channel. What kind of weapons? The kind that could have destroyed you but chose not to, Hyunwoo replied. Consider this a warning. Find honest work, or next time we won't be so merciful. He switched channels to contact the transport ship. Keth Mori vessel Bright Current. This is Captain Park. Are you injured? Do you need assistance? There was a long pause before Captain Veltar responded. His voice was shaking with emotion. Captain Park, you said you were human. Is that really true? Yes, it's true. By the stars, Veltar whispered. The legends were real. You've returned. We need to talk, Captain Veltar. Can your ship make it to a safe location? Yes, our engines are undamaged. But, Captain, if you really are human, there are things you need to know. The galaxy is not what you left behind. An hour later, the two ships were docked together in empty space. Captain Veltar came aboard the Baekdu with a small group of his crew. Hyun Woo met them in a conference room, along with Min Ho and Dr. Hye Jin. Veltar was typical of his species, tall and thin, with gray skin and large eyes, but his expression showed wonder and fear in equal measure. His crew members kept staring at the humans as if they were seeing ghosts. I fought in the war, Veltar said quietly. I was just a young officer then, serving on a Kethmori trade vessel that carried supplies to human colonies. I saw Earth's final message to the galaxy. I watched human ships sacrifice themselves to buy time for others to escape. He paused, gathering his thoughts. For 2 centuries, humans have been legends. Some say you were the greatest heroes who ever lived. Others claim you were dangerous rebels who caused the war. Most people think you're just stories now. What do you think? Dr. Hyjin asked gently. I think you saved my ship and 200 innocent lives today, just like you did during the war. That tells me everything I need to know about humans. Veltar activated a portable display and showed them current galactic maps. The galaxy is divided into 3 major powers now. The Neo-Republic is led by species that were your allies. They claim to follow human ideals of freedom and cooperation. The Imperial Consortium is controlled by the surviving Vortak clans. They rule through fear and strength. The Free World's coalition is made up of newer civilizations that grew powerful after the war ended. And they're all at peace with each other? Minho asked. Veltar laughed bitterly. Peace? No, Commander. It's a cold war that sometimes becomes hot. They fight through proxy conflicts and trade disputes. The Imperial Consortium wants to restore the old Dominion alliance. The Neo-Republic wants to spread democracy and human values. The free worlds just want to be left alone to grow and prosper. What about independent traders like yourself? Hyunwoo asked. We try to stay neutral, but it's getting harder. Pirates like those Rathkar are everywhere. The major powers are too busy watching each other to protect civilian ships. And there are other problems. What kind of problems? Veltar looked uncomfortable. Strange energy readings in some systems. Ships disappearing without explanation. Some people say it's connected to attempts to rebuild human technology, but I don't know the details. This caught Dr. Hyjin's attention. What do you mean, rebuild human technology? All 3 major powers have been trying to copy and improve human weapons and engines for decades. They've had some success, but he hesitated. There are rumors that some experiments have gone wrong, badly wrong. Hyunwoo and his officers exchanged concerned looks. Human technology, especially their quantum cascade systems, was extremely complex and dangerous if not properly understood. Captain Veltar, Hyunwoo said carefully, we need to learn more about the current political situation before we make any major decisions. Would you be willing to help us? Of course, it would be an honor. But, Captain, I must warn you, word of your return will spread quickly. My crew saw your ship and your weapons. Even if we promise to keep quiet, rumors will start. The major powers will hear about you soon. How soon? Days, maybe a week. The galaxy's communication networks are very efficient now. Hyunwoo nodded. He had expected this. Then we need to be ready. Captain, can you guide us to a safe place where we can gather information and supplies? Yes, but nowhere will be truly safe once they know you exist. The major powers will all want to find you. Some will want to welcome you back. Others will want to capture your technology. And some... He paused. Some will want to finish what the Dominion Alliance started. After Captain Veltar and his crew returned to their ship, the three humans sat in the conference room discussing their options. We could try to stay hidden, Minho suggested. Find a remote system and lay low until we understand the situation better. But people are already dying, Dr. Hyjin pointed out. News traveled fast through the galaxy's communication networks. Within 2 days of the rescue at Bright Current, every major power knew that humans had returned. The rumors grew with each telling. Some said a massive human fleet had appeared. Others claimed it was just one ship with impossible weapons. Captain Hyunwoo Park stood on the bridge of the Baekdu, watching 3 different fleet movements on the tactical display. All 3 major powers were mobilizing ships and sending them toward the sector where the rescue had happened. The Neo-Republic fleet is the closest, Commander Minho Lee reported. Admiral Thark-Sion is leading 12 ships, including 2 heavy cruisers. They should reach our last known position in about 18 hours. The Imperial Consortium is sending War Commander Bruthal with 15 ships, added Lieutenant Seung-Ho Kim, who had been awakened 3 days ago to handle reconnaissance duties. Their fleet is heavier but slower. They're about 24 hours out. And the Free Worlds Coalition? Hyunwoo asked. Director Zixara has dispatched a smaller but more advanced fleet, Arya replied. 8 ships with experimental sensor arrays. They're clearly more interested in studying us than fighting us. Dr. Hyajin Choi looked up from her medical reports. Sir, we've successfully awakened another 1,000 crew members. Engineering teams are checking all systems, and our medical staff is treating the few cases of cryo-sickness. Everyone is eager to know what's happening. I'll address the crew soon, Hyunwoo said. But first we need to decide our next move. We can't fight 3 fleets, and we can't outrun them forever. Chief Engineer Dong Hyun Yoon entered the bridge, looking worried. Captain, we have a problem. The quantum cascade reactors are showing signs of stress. They've been running for over 2 centuries without proper maintenance. I estimate we have maybe 6 months before we need to shut them down for complete rebuilding. How long would that take? Minho asked. At least 3 months, assuming we have the right materials and facilities. And we'd be completely vulnerable during that time. No shields, no weapons, no stealth systems. Hyunwoo felt the weight of command pressing down on him. Every option seemed to lead to danger or disaster. Captain, Lieutenant Seung-Ho said, I've been analyzing the approaching fleet's communication patterns. The Neo-Republic ships are broadcasting friendship messages in old human diplomatic codes. The Imperial Consortium fleet is maintaining communication silence, but their weapons are powered up. The Free World ships are sending scientific inquiry requests. So one wants to welcome us, one wants to fight us, and one wants to study us, Dr. Hyojin summarized. That's about right, Hyunwoo agreed. Arya, what do you know about these fleet commanders? The ship's AI projected holographic profiles of the three leaders. Admiral Tharxion is a Kalari who fought alongside human forces during the war. He has a reputation for honor and fairness, but also for being somewhat naive about political complexities. War Commander Bruthal is a traditional Vortak warrior who believes strength is the only language the galaxy understands. Director Zixara is a Nethys scientist-politician who values knowledge above all else. Any of them we can trust? Minho asked. Tharxion, probably. He genuinely believes in the ideals humans fought for. But his government might have different ideas about what to do with us. Ji-Won Park, the crew revival specialist, entered the bridge with a concerned expression. Captain, we're getting questions from the awakened crew. They want to know if we're going home, if there is a home to go to, and what our mission is now. Hyunwoo looked around at his officers. These were good people who had trusted him to lead them through humanity's darkest hour. They deserved answers he wasn't sure he had. Schedule a ship-wide assembly for this evening, he decided. Everyone needs to understand our situation. But first, I want to talk to Captain Veltar again. His knowledge of current galactic politics might help us find a way through this. An hour later, Veltar's image appeared on the communication screen. The Kethmori captain looked even more worried than before. Captain Park, you need to leave this sector immediately, he said without preamble. 3 major fleets are converging on your position. Even with your advanced technology, you cannot fight all of them. We're not planning to fight anyone, Hyunwoo replied, but we need a safe place to make contact and explain our situation. There is no safe place, not anymore. The moment those fleets find you, the Cold War between the major powers could become a real war. Each faction will claim the right to speak for you, and none will accept the other's authority. What do you suggest? Veltar was quiet for a moment. There is one possibility. Kepler's Haven is officially neutral territory. Station Administrator Quilks has managed to keep it independent for over 50 years. If you could reach the station and request neutral mediation, would the major powers respect that? They would have to, at least officially. Breaking neutrality at Kepler's Haven would unite all the other neutral systems against them. But, Captain, it's still dangerous. The station is always full of ships from different factions. There would be no way to keep your presence secret. At least there we might be able to talk instead of fight, Dr. Heejin pointed out. How far is Kepler's Haven from our current position? Minho asked. About 4 days at normal speed, Veltar replied. But, Captain, there's something else you should know. My ship's communications officer has been monitoring military channels. There are reports of strange energy readings in several systems. The same kind of quantum signatures your ship produces. This got everyone's attention immediately. What kind of energy readings? Chief Engineer Dong Hyun asked. Quantum cascade resonance, according to the reports. But it's unstable and dangerous. 3 systems have reported mysterious explosions and reality distortions. Some scientists think someone is experimenting with poorly understood human technology. Hyun-woo felt a chill run down his spine. Quantum cascade technology was incredibly powerful, but it required precise control and deep understanding of quantum mechanics. If someone was trying to copy it without proper knowledge, the explosions, he said slowly. How bad were they? One destroyed a research station, another damaged a small moon. The third created some kind of space-time anomaly that ships have to avoid. My God, Dong Hyun whispered. They're going to cause a chain reaction. If quantum cascade systems start resonating with each other without proper controls, what would happen? Dr. Hai-jin asked. It could destabilize entire star systems. Maybe even create a cascade effect that spreads across the galaxy. The bridge fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. Humanity had developed quantum cascade technology as a clean, efficient power source and the basis for advanced weapons and engines. But incomplete understanding of the principles could turn it into a weapon of unimaginable destruction. This changes everything, Hyun-woo said, finally. We're not just trying to survive or find our place in the galaxy. We might be the only ones who can prevent a disaster. Captain, Arya said, I have been analyzing the quantum resonance patterns Veltar mentioned. They match theoretical models for cascade failure that Dr. So-Young Kim developed before the war. If these experiments continue, the probability of catastrophic failure increases exponentially. How long before it becomes critical? Unknown, but the progression suggests months rather than years. Lieutenant Sung-ho looked up from his sensor readings. Sir, we have another problem. Long-range sensors show that the Neo-Republic fleet has changed course. They're not heading to our last known position anymore. They're heading straight for us. Impossible, Min-ho said. Our stealth systems are still active. Not anymore, Chief Dong-hyun reported from his engineering station. The quantum cascade reactors are producing more energy fluctuations as they degrade. Our stealth field is becoming less effective. How long before we're completely visible at Tiu? The current rate of degradation may be 12 hours. Hyun-woo made a quick decision. Set course for Kepler's Haven, maximum speed. Send a message to Admiral Tharxion on Neo-Republic diplomatic channels. Tell him we're willing to talk, but only on neutral ground. What about the other fleets? Min-ho asked. Send similar messages to War Commander Bruthal and Director Zixara. Make it clear that we want peaceful contact, but we won't be forced into anything. As the Baekdu began accelerating toward the neutral station, Hyun-woo gathered his senior staff for an emergency meeting. The situation has become more complex than we expected, he began. We're not just dealing with political tensions between the major powers. Someone out there is experimenting with our technology and creating dangers that could affect the entire galaxy. Are we sure it's not one of the major powers doing the experiments? Dr. Hai-jin asked. The reports suggest the experiments are happening in neutral or contested systems, Arya replied. It's more likely to be independent researchers or black market scientists trying to reverse engineer quantum cascade technology. Either way, we need to stop it, Chief Dong-hyun said. And we're probably the only ones with enough knowledge to do it safely. That gives us a bargaining position, Minho observed. The major powers want our technology, but they also need our help to prevent a galactic disaster. It also makes us more valuable and more dangerous, Lieutenant Seung-ho pointed out. Kepler's haven appeared on the main screen like a small moon made of metal and lights. The massive space station was built inside a hollowed-out asteroid, with docking bays and living sections carved into the rock. Thousands of ships from dozens of different species moved around it like busy insects. Captain Hyunwoo Park studied the tactical display as the Baekdu approached the station. Admiral Tharxion's Neo-Republic fleet had kept their word, escorting them without interference. But long-range sensors showed that War Commander Bruthal's Imperial Consortium ships were only hours away, and Director Zik Sara's Free Worlds Coalition fleet was approaching from another direction. "It's bigger than I expected, Commander Minho," Lee said, looking at the station. "Home to about 2 million beings," Arya replied. "Traders, refugees, independent researchers, and people who just want to live without choosing sides in the galactic Cold War. Perfect place for a meeting," Dr. Hee Jin Choi observed. "Or a perfect place for everything to go wrong." Chief Engineer Dong-hyun Yoon looked up from his console. "Captain, our quantum cascade reactors are holding steady for now, but I'm reading some strange energy patterns from the station itself." "What kind of patterns?" "Quantum resonance signatures. Very faint, but they're definitely there. Someone on that station has been experimenting with technology based on our designs. This was exactly what Hyun-woo had been afraid of." "Can you determine how dangerous it is?" "Not from this distance. I'd need to get closer and run detailed scans." "Captain," Lieutenant Sung-ho Kim reported, "Station Administrator Quilks is requesting direct communication." The main screen changed to show an elderly Vextai. Administrator Quilks had pale green skin, large eyes, and the kind of patient expression that came from decades of dealing with diplomatic crises. His species was known for being natural mediators. "Captain Park," Quilks said in a calm voice, "welcome to Kepler's Haven. I have been expecting you ever since the news of your return reached us. I must say, your arrival has created quite a stir in galactic politics. Administrator, we appreciate your willingness to provide neutral ground for discussions. However, we have urgent concerns beyond politics." "You mean the quantum cascade experiments?" "Yes, we are very aware of that situation. In fact, it is one of the reasons I was eager to speak with you." This got everyone's attention. "You know about the experiments?" Hyun-woo asked. "Captain, Kepler's Haven has always been a place where researchers come to work on projects their governments might not approve of. Usually, this is harmless. New art forms, philosophical studies, minor technological improvements. But recently, we have been hosting some very worried scientists." "What kind of scientists?" "The kind who have been trying to reverse engineer human quantum cascade technology and have realized they are in far over their heads. They came here seeking help, but until today, there were no humans left to ask." Dr. Hyjin leaned forward. How bad is the situation? Bad enough that I have been losing sleep and my species only sleeps once a week. Captain, would you be willing to meet with some of these researchers? They have information you need to hear. Of course. But Administrator, you should know that 3 major fleets are converging on your station. This could become a very dangerous situation. Quilks's expression didn't change, but his eyes showed a hint of worry. I am aware of the fleets. Admiral Tharxion has already requested docking permission for diplomatic talks. War Commander Bruthal and Director Zixara have made similar requests. I have granted them all, as required by our neutrality treaty. That's a lot of very hostile people in one small space, Minho pointed out. Indeed. Which is why I propose we move quickly. Captain, I suggest you dock your ship and meet with the researchers immediately. The more we understand about the quantum cascade crisis, the better prepared we will be when the other fleets arrive. 2 hours later, Hyunwoo found himself walking through the corridors of Kepler's Haven with Dr. Hyjin and Cultural Officer Eun-seo Jang, who had been awakened specifically for this mission. The station was like a small city, with markets, living areas, and research facilities all carved into the asteroid's interior. The diversity was amazing. Kethmori merchants talked with Voss refugees, while Kalari diplomats negotiated with Nethys traders. Dozens of species moved through the corridors, conducting business or just living their lives far from the political tensions of their home worlds. It's like the old days, Yunseo said softly. Before the war, this is what most human colonies looked like. Different species working together. It gives me hope, Dr. Hyjin agreed. If people can cooperate here, maybe they can cooperate elsewhere too. Administrator Quilks led them to a secure conference room where 5 researchers were waiting. Hyunwoo recognized the species, but not the individuals. 2 Nethys, 1 Kalari, 1 Voss, and surprisingly, 1 young Kethmori, who looked barely old enough to be a scientist. Captain Park, Quilks said, let me introduce Dr. Lixara, a Voss, physicist who has been studying quantum mechanics. Dr. Thane and Dr. Kayaks are Nethys specialists in energy systems. Professor Jalith is a Kalari engineer who worked on military applications. And this is Jorik, a Kethmori prodigy who has been trying to understand human cascade theory. The young Kethmori, Jorik, stepped forward with obvious excitement. Captain, is it really true? Have humans really returned? I have studied your people's scientific papers for years, but everyone said they were just historical curiosities. We're real, Hyunwoo assured him, and we're here to help. Tell me about these experiments. Dr. Lixara, the Voss physicist, activated a holographic display. Captain, for decades, researchers across the galaxy have been trying to copy human quantum cascade technology. We have had some success with basic power generation, but the more advanced applications have been problematic. The display showed several star system maps with red warning zones marked on them. 3 major incidents so far, Dr. Thane added. The first was in the Kepler-7 system, where a research station tried to build a cascade weapon. The feedback explosion destroyed the station and created a quantum anomaly that still disrupts space travel in that area. The second was in the Vega Minor system, Professor Jaleth continued. A group of Imperial Consortium scientists tried to power a space station with cascade reactors. The station is still there, but the entire facility is trapped in a temporal loop. The same day repeats over and over. And the third? Dr. Hyojin asked, though she looked like she didn't want to hear the answer. Young Jorik pulled up another display. The Altair system. A Free Worlds research team tried to create a cascade engine for faster-than-light travel. Instead, they created what can only be described as a hole in space-time. Ships that go near it simply disappear. The room fell silent as the humans absorbed this information. Hyunwoo felt sick. The technology that was supposed to be humanity's gift to the galaxy had become a source of destruction and chaos. How many people have been killed? He asked quietly. Direct casualties are in the thousands, Dr. Lixara replied. But the disruptions to trade and travel have affected millions more. And, Captain, we believe the incidents are connected. The quantum signatures from each accident are creating resonance patterns across the galaxy. A cascade effect, Chief Engineer Dong Hyun said over the communication link from the ship. Captain, I've been monitoring the conversation. What they're describing matches our worst-case scenarios. If the resonance continues to build, it could trigger spontaneous cascade reactions in systems that don't even have the technology. How long before that happens? Yoon Seo asked. Based on current patterns, maybe 6 months? Dr. Kieks answered. Maybe less if there are more accidents. There will be more accidents, Professor Jaleth said grimly. Every major power has cascade research programs. They know the technology is dangerous, but they also know that whoever masters it first will have an enormous military advantage. So they're in a race to build weapons that could destroy the galaxy, Dr. Hyojin summarized. Essentially, yes. Hyunwoo stood up and paced to the window that looked out into space. He could see Admiral Tharxion's fleet maintaining position near the station, and sensors showed that the other fleets would arrive within hours. What do you need from us? He asked the researchers. Complete technical specifications for quantum cascade control systems, Dr. Lixara said immediately. Safety protocols, resonance dampening techniques, anything that can help us contain the existing anomalies and prevent new ones. That information could also be used to build better weapons, Minho pointed out over the communication link. Yes, Jorik admitted. But, Captain, without that information, the galaxy might not survive long enough for weapons to matter. There was a chime from the station's communication system. Administrator Quilks activated his personal communicator and listened for a moment. Captain Park, he said, War Commander Bruthal's fleet has arrived. They are requesting immediate boarding and inspection of your vessel. On what authority? Yoon Seo asked. Imperial Consortium law, which claims jurisdiction over all human technology as spoils of war. And if we refuse, then they will attempt to take your ship by force, neutrality treaty or not. The main conference room of Kepler's Haven had never hosted such a dangerous gathering. 3 tables formed a triangle in the center of the room, with representatives from each major galactic power sitting as far apart as possible. Captain Hyunwoo Park sat at a 4th table with his officers, while Administrator Quilks tried to maintain order from a neutral position. Admiral Tharxion of the Neo-Republic looked hopeful but cautious. His blue Kalari skin seemed to glow under the conference room lights, and his silver hair was perfectly arranged despite the long journey. Across from him, War Commander Bruthal of the Imperial Consortium sat like a coiled spring ready to attack. The massive Vortak warrior's gray skin was covered in ceremonial scars, and his red eyes never stopped moving, watching for threats or opportunities. At the third table, Director Zixara of the Free Worlds Coalition appeared calm and analytical. The slender Nethys had pale purple skin and large dark eyes that missed nothing. Her delegation included scientists and diplomats rather than soldiers. "This is ridiculous," Bruthal growled, his voice like grinding stone. "We should be discussing the surrender of the human vessel and the transfer of their technology to proper authority. Instead, we waste time with fairy tales about galactic destruction. The quantum cascade crisis is not a fairy tale," Dr. Hai Jin replied calmly. "We have seen the data from 3 separate incidents. If current trends continue, the resonance effects will cause spontaneous cascade reactions across the galaxy." "Assuming your data is accurate," Director Zixara said smoothly. "But even if true, this crisis was caused by attempts to copy human technology. The logical solution is to stop all such research and contain existing experiments." "Contain them how?" "Admiral," Tharxion asked. "The anomalies in Kepler 7, Vega Minor, and Altair are beyond our current understanding. Only humans have the knowledge to safely address them." "Which brings us back to the central question," Bruthal said, leaning forward aggressively. "Who controls the humans and their knowledge? The Imperial Consortium has the strongest claim as inheritors of the Dominion Alliance's victory." "The Dominion Alliance was defeated and destroyed," Tharxion replied sharply. "The Neo-Republic carries on humanity's legacy of freedom and cooperation. We should be their natural allies." "Both of you are missing the point," Zixara interjected. "The Free Worlds Coalition represents the future of galactic civilization. We offer humans a chance to join a truly equal partnership, not subordination to old empires or failed republics." Hyunwoo listened to the arguments for several minutes, watching the 3 factions talk past each other instead of addressing the real crisis. Finally, he stood up. "Enough," he said quietly, but something in his voice made everyone stop talking. "You're arguing about who gets to control us while the galaxy burns around you. This is exactly why humanity chose to fight the Dominion Alliance rather than surrender. You fought because you were too proud to accept proper authority." Bruthal sneered. "No," Hyunwoo replied, his voice getting harder. "We fought because we believed that no single power should control the fate of all intelligent life. And we were willing to die for that principle." He activated the room's holographic display, showing the current galactic map with all 3 quantum cascade anomalies marked in red. 200 years ago, humanity made a choice. We could have surrendered and let the Dominion Alliance rule the galaxy through fear and oppression. Instead, we chose mutual destruction, taking our oppressors with us rather than let tyranny win. The room was completely silent now. Even Bruthal had stopped making aggressive gestures. "But we didn't just choose destruction. Hyun-woo continued. We also chose hope. The quantum cascade technology was our gift to the galaxy. Clean energy, advanced engines, medical applications that could eliminate disease and hunger. We wanted to leave something behind that would make life better for everyone. He changed the display to show technical specifications that made all three delegations lean forward with interest. This is the complete quantum cascade control system, he said. Everything you need to safely harness this technology. Power generation, medical applications, faster than light travel. All of it can be yours. What's the price? Director Zixara asked suspiciously. No price, no conditions, no exclusive deals. We're offering to share this knowledge freely with all three of your governments. The three faction leaders looked stunned. Bruthal was the first to recover. Impossible. No one gives away such valuable technology without demanding something in return. Humans do, Admiral Tharxion said softly. During the war, they shared their medical advances with anyone who asked, even neutral systems. It was one of the reasons so many species supported them. But there must be something you want, Zixara insisted. Hyun-woo nodded. There is. We want you to work together to fix the quantum cascade anomalies before they destroy the galaxy. And we want you to promise that this technology will never be used to oppress other species. Work together? Bruthal laughed harshly. The Imperial Consortium does not cooperate with weaklings and dreamers. Then the Imperial Consortium can watch. The galaxy burned from the outside, Dr. Hyjin said sharply. Because without cooperation, there's no way to contain the cascade reactions. She's right, said a new voice from the conference room door. Young Jorik, the Kethmori scientist, entered with permission from Administrator Quilks. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we've just received emergency communications from 3 more systems. The holographic display updated to show new red zones on the galactic map. New cascade incidents? Commander Minho asked. Worse. The existing anomalies are starting to resonate with each other across interstellar distances. The quantum effects are spreading faster than we predicted. Director Zixara stood up, studying the new data. How much time do we have? At this rate, maybe 3 months before the resonance reaches critical mass. After that, cascade reactions could start happening anywhere, even in systems with no quantum technology at all. The room fell silent as everyone absorbed the implications. Hyun-woo could see the fear in their eyes as they realized that political disputes were meaningless if civilization itself was about to collapse. This changes nothing, Bruthal said, but his voice lacked its earlier confidence. The Imperial Consortium will take control of human technology and use it to solve this crisis. With what? Admiral Tharxion demanded. Your scientists couldn't even build a stable cascade reactor. How are you going to fix anomalies that your people helped create? The Neo-Republic has better scientists than the Consortium, Zixara pointed out. But our research teams are the most advanced. Any solution will require our expertise. Your expertise created the Altair anomaly, Bruthal growled. And your military experiments caused the Kepler-7 incident, Tharxion shot back. Hyun-woo watched the 3 leaders fall back into their familiar pattern of blame and hostility. Even facing galactic destruction, they couldn't stop being enemies long enough to work together. Area, he said quietly. Activate emergency broadcast protocol. All frequencies, all languages. Captain, are you sure? The ship's AI asked. Do it. Suddenly, every communication device in the conference room activated simultaneously. The same message began broadcasting on every radio, every computer screen, and every holographic display across the galaxy. This is Captain Hyanwu Park of the human carrier Baekdu, speaking to all intelligent species in the galaxy. Humanity has returned, but we have not come back to choose sides in your conflicts. We have come back to save you from a crisis that threatens all life. The three faction leaders stared at him in shock as the broadcast continued. Quantum cascade technology, developed by humans as a gift to the galaxy, has been corrupted by incomplete understanding and political competition. Unless we work together immediately, the resulting cascade reactions will destroy entire star systems and make large parts of the galaxy uninhabitable. You can't do this, Bruthal snarled. This is a violation of diplomatic protocol. Protocol is meaningless if everyone dies, Hyunwoo replied calmly. The broadcast continued without interruption. To the leaders of the Neo-Republic, Imperial Consortium, and Free Worlds Coalition, your choice is simple. Work together to save the galaxy or watch it burn while you fight over the ashes. Humanity offers our knowledge and expertise freely to anyone willing to put aside old grudges and focus on the real enemy, the cascade reactions themselves. Admiral Tharxion was nodding slowly. The Neo-Republic accepts. We will work with anyone to solve this crisis. Director Zixara looked thoughtful. The Free Worlds Coalition also accepts, assuming genuine cooperation and shared control over any solutions. All eyes turned to War Commander Bruthal. The massive Vortak warrior sat silent for a long moment, his red eyes burning with anger and frustration. The Imperial Consortium does not cooperate with enemies, he said finally. Then, the Consortium can explain to their people why they chose pride over survival, Hyunwoo replied. The galaxy will remember who chose to help and who chose to stand aside. You think you can manipulate me with threats and shame? I think you're not stupid enough to let your civilization die for the sake of political posturing. But if I'm wrong, we'll find a way to save the galaxy without you. 3 weeks had passed since the emergency conference at Kepler's Haven. The station had transformed into the center of the largest cooperative effort in galactic history. Ships from dozens of species filled the surrounding space, and temporary research facilities had been built throughout the asteroid's interior. Captain Hyunwoo Park stood in the main command center, watching dozens of screens that showed the crisis unfolding across the galaxy. The quantum cascade resonance was spreading faster than anyone had predicted. 7 systems now showed dangerous anomalies, and the resonance patterns were creating new instabilities every day. Status report, he called out to the mixed crew, of humans and aliens working at various stations. The situation is getting worse, replied Dr. Lixara, the Voss physicist who had become the lead scientist for the Joint Task Force. The Rigel system just reported a new cascade event. That makes 8 confirmed anomalies, and sensors suggest at least 3 more are developing. Chief Engineer Dong Hyun Yoon looked up from his calculations. Captain, I've run the numbers a dozen times. There's only one way to stop the cascade resonance from spreading further. Tell me. We need to create a controlled quantum pulse that will disrupt the resonance patterns across the galaxy. But to generate enough power, we'd have to sacrifice the Becdu's main reactor core. The command center fell silent. Everyone understood what that meant. The Becdu's quantum cascade reactor was the most advanced piece of technology in the galaxy. It powered their weapons, their shields, their engines, and their life support systems. Without it, the ship would be helpless. "And if we don't do it?" Dr. Hyjin asked quietly. "The resonance cascade will continue spreading until it destabilizes." "The quantum structure of space itself," Dr. Lixera answered. "Entire regions of the galaxy could become uninhabitable. Billions of people will die." Commander Min-Ho Lee shook his head. "There has to be another way. What about using the combined power of all the ships here?" "Not enough," Dong Hyun replied. "We'd need the power output of at least 50 heavy cruisers, and most of the ships here are transports or research vessels. Besides, their power systems aren't compatible with quantum cascade technology." Cultural Officer Yun Seo Jang looked thoughtful. "What if we combined our reactor with power from the other faction's ships? They all have some form of reverse-engineered cascade technology." "Possible," Dong Hyun admitted, "but extremely dangerous. Their systems are unstable. Trying to link them together could cause a massive explosion instead of the controlled pulse we need." Admiral Tharxion entered the command center, followed by Director Zixara and, surprisingly, War Commander Bruthal. The three faction leaders had been working together for 3 weeks now, though they still argued about everything. "Captain Park," Admiral Tharxion said, "we've received reports from our scout ships. The cascade effects are spreading to inhabited systems. The Centauri colonies are being evacuated, and the Vega shipyards have been abandoned." "How many refugees?" Dr. Hyjin asked. "Millions so far," Director Zixara replied. "And that's just the beginning. If we can't stop this cascade, the displacement of populations will destabilize the entire galactic economy." War Commander Bruthal crossed his arms. "The Imperial Consortium is prepared to offer military escort for refugee convoys, but our resources are limited. We cannot protect everyone." "Nobody expects you to," Hyun Woo said, "but I appreciate the offer. 3 weeks ago, you wouldn't have cared about protecting anyone outside your own territory." 3 weeks ago, I didn't believe the galaxy was actually going to end, Bruthal replied grimly. Lieutenant Seong-ho Kim burst into the command center, looking excited and worried at the same time. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Altair anomaly. Something's happening there." The main display switched to show a sensor reading from the Altair system, where one of the first cascade experiments had created a hole in space-time. The anomaly was growing larger and more unstable. "The space-time distortion is expanding," Dr. Lixera reported. "If it continues at this rate, it will consume the entire system within days. And then it will start affecting neighboring systems," Dong Hyun added. "This could be the beginning of a complete galactic collapse." Hyun Woo felt the weight of command pressing down on him harder than ever before. 50,000 humans were still sleeping safely aboard the Becdu, trusting him to keep them alive. But millions of other beings across the galaxy were counting on him too. "How long do we have to prepare the quantum pulse?" he asked. 6 hours to set up the systems, Dong-hyun replied. "But Captain, once we begin the process, we can't stop it. The Baekdu's reactor will be completely destroyed. And without our reactor, we'll be just another refugee ship," Minho pointed out. "No weapons, no shields, no advanced technology. We'll be completely dependent on the goodwill of others, like the rest of the galaxy has been for the past 2 centuries, Yoon Seo observed. Admiral Tharxion stepped forward. "Captain, if you sacrifice your ship to save the galaxy, the Neo-Republic pledges to provide safe haven for all human survivors. You will be welcomed as honored guests and full citizens. The Free Worlds Coalition makes the same offer," Director Zixara added. "Our scientists would be honored to work alongside humans in developing new technologies." All eyes turned to War Commander, Bruthel. The Vortak warrior was quiet for a long moment. "The Imperial Consortium also offers protection and citizenship to human survivors," he said finally. "Your people have proven their worth through sacrifice. That is something Vortak understand and respect." Hyunwoo looked around the command center at the faces watching him. Humans and aliens working side by side, united by a common cause for the first time in centuries. This was what humanity had dreamed of during the dark days of the war. Not conquest or domination, but cooperation and mutual respect. "I need to speak with my crew," he said. "This decision affects all of them." 2 hours later, the main assembly hall of the Baekdu was packed with humans. All 50,000 crew members had been awakened for this moment. They sat in silent rows, waiting to hear what their captain had to say. Hyunwoo stood at the podium, looking out at the faces of humanity's survivors. Scientists and soldiers, doctors and engineers, teachers and artists, all the people who had volunteered to sleep for centuries in the hope of finding a better future. 200 years ago, he began, humanity faced a choice. We could surrender to the Dominion Alliance and live as slaves, or we could fight and die free. Our ancestors chose to fight, and their sacrifice gave us this moment. He activated a holographic display showing the current state of the galaxy, the spreading cascade, anomalies, the refugee ships, the joint task force working desperately to find a solution. Now we face another choice. We can keep our advanced technology and try to find a safe place to rebuild human civilization, or we can sacrifice our greatest asset to save billions of other lives. The hall was completely silent. 50,000. People waiting to hear their fate. I won't lie to you. If we choose to help, we'll lose everything that makes us technologically superior. We'll have to depend on other species for protection and support. We'll be starting over with nothing but our knowledge and our willingness to work. He paused, looking around the assembly hall. But if we don't help, the galaxy will burn. Entire species will go extinct. Civilization itself might collapse. And we'll have to live with the knowledge that we could have prevented it. A voice called out from the crowd. What do you recommend, Captain? I recommend we do what humans have always done when faced with impossible choices. We choose to help others, even when it costs us everything. The vote was unanimous. 4 hours later, The Bekdu was in position at the center of Kepler's haven. Ships from all three major factions had formed a protective circle around the human carrier, their combined shields creating a barrier against the quantum energies that were about to be released. In the command center, Dong-hyun made final adjustments to the quantum pulse system. "Reactor overload in 30 seconds, he announced. "All hands, prepare for pulse generation." Hyun-woo opened a communication channel to the entire galaxy. "This is Captain Hyun-woo Park. In a few moments, we will attempt to disrupt the quantum cascade resonance that threatens our galaxy. Whatever happens next, remember that we are stronger together than we are apart." "Quantum pulse in 10 seconds, Dong-hyun called out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pulse away. The Bekdu's reactor core overloaded in a controlled explosion of quantum energy. The pulse spread outward at faster-than-light speed, carrying precisely calculated frequencies designed to disrupt cascade resonance patterns across the galaxy. On the bridge, alarms wailed as power systems failed one by one. The lights dimmed, the artificial gravity fluctuated, and the main engines went offline. In minutes, the most advanced ship in the galaxy had become a powerless hulk. But the pulse worked. Across the galaxy, the cascade anomalies began to stabilize. The space-time distortions stopped growing. The quantum resonance patterns that had threatened to destroy civilization slowly faded away. "Cascade resonance dropping to safe levels," Dr. Lixara reported from her station. "The pulse worked. The galaxy is safe." Cheers erupted throughout the command center as humans and aliens embraced each other. They had done it. Together, they had saved the galaxy.